All right, I got some wisdom for combating lust that you need to hear. So I'm being a small group leader at a mission camp this summer with this other guy, and most built, ripped, shredded guy I've ever seen. And we're talking to these middle school boys in our small group, and he gives this wisdom to them of like, if any guy tells you they're not struggling with lust, then they're just lying to you. And I think it's very healthy to drag those sins out in the middle of the town square, as John Mark Comer wrote. It's very healthy to talk through those things and say, hey, I'm struggling. At very least, God already knows. Bring them to God and say, God, I need you in this. I'm struggling. And so a few tips for this. First of all, why is lust wrong? Jesus said, well, the commandment is don't commit adultery. Jesus' teaching was that if you lust after somebody in your heart, you commit adultery in your heart. You commit adultery with your thoughts. And so it's very deceptive that those ideas whittle you down into doing something you would have never thought you'd do. As for combating that, the deceptive thing the devil does is by saying, no, this is wrong, it allows you to keep thinking about it, which again whittles you down. It gives it that dialogue in your head. So the goal is to not give it that dialogue in your head. Shift your focus to anything else, whether it's how good God is or the billion things we have to be thankful for, the infinite things that God has blessed us with, and run through how beautiful a pencil is, that God made the tree for it, and that we're able to write with it and talk with each other and use language and all these beautiful things and talk to God for an hour about a pencil. Not because that's a crazy thing that you should do, I'm just weird like that, but whatever is beautiful to you, there is so much joy in everything that God has for you. And so anything can be a healthier thing to think of than those lustful thoughts. It slowly has that dialogue in your head. When you say, no, this is wrong, it breaks you down. The other healthy thing to think about is that every single person you look at, if some hot girl walks by you, it's healthy to think, that is somebody's daughter. That is a fellow image bearer of God. That person is created in God's image for a purpose. They are more loved and valuable to God than I could ever think or ever understand in this lifetime. That person, they have a life just as complex as my own. They have a relationship with God, hopefully. They have a soul like me that they're living out of. And that's something so healthy to focus on. And so lust can be a struggle in many different ways for many different people, but God wants to give you a healthy way out. As we talked about in the beginning, isolation is a killer. Community is so important. You need to be rooted into a local church, a group of believers, a Bible study somewhere, somehow, so that you have a place where people can hold you accountable and where you can bring those sins out into the town square and talk about it, because we're all struggling. But if we're all sitting in isolation and acting like we're not struggling, there's no growth. My pastor loves to say, you can't start where you're not. You'll never grow out of that if you never act like there's a problem, if you never are willing to say, hey, there is a problem. If you can't just act like it's fine and then expect it to go away, you need to confront the problem and say, no, there's something messed up here. So get in the community. You can't overcome it on your own strength, and you also can't overcome it alone with God's strength. You need God and you need other people. We're made to be in relationship with God. We're made to be in relationship with each other. That's the design. That's the solution. Go get them.